As you can see, this week's episode we are covering 1998's Neutral Milk Hotel's release in the Aeroplane over the sea. I personally love this one. I've listened to this physical album only a couple times, but I know the album pretty well. This was the second album from the Neutral Milk Hotel. And the brainchild behind the Neutral Milk Hotel is Jeff Mangum. That's Mangum with a G. And this record was produced by one of the musicians on the album, which is Robert Schneider. And Bill Doss and Will Cullen Hart make up the rest of the band. Julian Coster and Jeremy Barnes and Scott Spillane joined him on tour. The Neutral Milk Hotel is a Louisiana band, and they formed in the late 80s. And they did a lot of home recording for that first album on Avery Island, which didn't become a full album until 1996. So for this album, they recorded in Pet Sounds Studio in Denver, Colorado. And they definitely were going for a better sound, but still, they use a lot of distortion and heavy compression on this album, which sort of ranges from acoustic to, things that sounds like something you can sort of hear on a classical station, and ranges all the way to what sounds like punk rock sometimes. It's considered psychedelic folk. I always thought it was steampunk, but that is more actually the bands that they inspired, which I actually knew first. So bands like the Decemberists and Arcade Fire are heavily influenced by the Neutral Milk Hotel. And I actually started listening to those bands first, and those two are some of my favorite bands, two of my favorite bands. The album was recorded mostly from July to September 1997 and released the following year. How they created that sound, which was heavy distortion, but also definitely had a quality of warmth, was, to my understanding, they recorded a lot of the stuff on cassette first before transferring it over. So when they promoted the album, they went on tour in North America and Europe. And the tour, I guess, really took a toll on Mangum, because soon after, the band went on a very, very long hiatus. They kind of stopped recording, and in that time is that time period when Neutral Milk Hotel was not around. They reformed in 2013 and once again went on a hiatus in 2015, and that's pretty much been it. The album is heavily influenced by The Diary of a Young Girl, which is a book of writings from the Diary of Anne Frank. I've actually never heard of that. I've heard about the Diary of Anne Frank, but not about that book. I would definitely put it in a psychedelic focus. Definitely one way to put it, but it's definitely, I would call it art rock. Alright, let's repackage this. And I've actually never seen the inside. So the artwork was, from what I understand, reworking of a postcard that Mangum had found. And it was reworked by Chris Billheimer, who used to do the album artwork for REM. He cropped and edited the artwork. Probably this is the biggest change he made. If you look up the original postcard, the woman actually has a face. I've never seen this. So from what understanding of the story is that Mangum had commissioned an artist by the name of Brian Duane to draw a flying Victoria and a magic radio booth, which is this, and it also appears on the actual album. Now, I believe everything here written down I was gonna guess that this is, or maybe the lyrics just compressed, but I don't think they are. I believe this is a separate piece of writing, most likely inspired by Anne Frank, and probably written by Jeff Mangum. Wow, I think this is beautiful. Amazing. I became familiar with the album in the Spotify Hi-Fi era, so I never had the CD, so I've never seen this art. And that's the danger with how we listen to music now. So the dust sleeve looks nice, but I'll put the entire album in a record sleeve. So here's that flying Victrola again. Side 1. Since the songs are not listed on the album, by the looks of it, I'll open up the jacket once again to get the track listings for us. So, because they are such art rock guys, they don't do the normal side 1, side 2, which just looks like every song is just listed. So, number 1 was The King of Carrot Flowers, Part 1. 2 is The King of Carrot Flowers, Parts 2 and 3. Third track is the title track, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. Track 4 is Two-Headed Boy, which is actually my favorite track on the album. Track 5 is The Fool. Track 6 is Holland, 1945. Track 7 is The Communist Daughter. Track 8, Oh, Comely. Track 9, Ghosts. And track 10, Two-Headed Boy, Part 2. I'm upset I didn't get to see them when they came around in 2013. I don't think I had discovered them yet, actually. Or, well, discovered is the wrong word. Just really paid attention and listened to the album yet. I don't think I did that until later. got into this stuff a lot later on. There you have it.